And we're live. Good morning. My
Hey,
name is Lydia Graham, and I own and operate Graham Virtual Marketing Solutions located in Charleston, Connecticut. Today, I have Suhasini Kalaskar, all the way from India, and we're going to be talking about branding and how important it is, especially for 2020, with all the changes that are going on in our landscape. So I'm going to give Suhasini her spotlight so that she has a chance to share with us this beautiful presentation that she put together for today. And as she's speaking, I will have her information scrolling along the bottom so that you guys, if you need anything, you can get in touch with her. Thank you, Suhasini, for joining me today. I'm going to let you get started.
thank you, Lydia. This is so exciting to be speaking live to your audience all the way in the US. I do work
Yes.
with some US clients, and yes, Americans make the best clients.
Oh, why,
Uh,
thank you.
so I'm excited to be kind of launching this live masterclass with you.
Me too. Me
And
too.
I have created some information for our audience today about how they can grow their business with branding. I'm going to share my screen now.
Awesome. Awesome.
So let's talk about how branding actually helps you to grow your business. Okay.
Okay.
So branding is not new. In fact, some of the best brands that we still know and we know so well are actually very very old. And in fact, Colgate is like you can see 1806. National Geographic is was started in 1888. And any of you who are into whiskey or bourbon,
Now, I
Jim
just
Beam,
want
which
to,
I
sorry
think.
to interrupt you, but I'm not seeing the presentation. So could
Oh,
you
okay.
just try sharing that screen and I can put it up for everybody? I am so
I'm
sorry to
sorry.
interrupt you, Cindy. I just wanted you to know before you got too far.
Right, right,
Okay,
right,
anyhow,
right.
I'm now on my side. I can add it to the stream for you, and here we go. So this is what she's talking about, everybody. Go ahead, Cindy. I'm so sorry for interrupting you.
Now you can see it now.
I can see it now, and I think that everybody else would be able to see it now as well. Yes.
Okay,
Is it?
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. No problem.
So we're going to
Technical.
be talking about how branding helps with business growth. And okay, the slide, you can see the new slide.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
So branding
Call.
is not new. It's not new. It's not like flavor of the season or anything like that. It's the brand, some of the brands that we know have been around for a long time. And actually, the fact that the brand has done so well, has carved a name for itself, that's actually helped these brands and companies to remain relevant and remain in business. And you can see here, Colgate, the brand, was born in 1806. National Geographic was born in 1888. And if some of you are into whiskey and bourbon, I think this is an American brand, Jim Beam, that was actually started in, I didn't even have to put it there because their label actually says that they
Oh,
have been
awesome.
around since 1795. Yeah. So branding just started as a way to make a product recognizable. Are you going to go to a shop and just say, hey, give me a pound of salt? Or are you going to ask for a particular salt by name? So it was as simple as that initially. But today, a brand is means many different things. Some people say it's a promise. Some people say, there's a brand promise. But we also look at it as a bundle of benefits. Okay, for example, you could use any laptop, or you could use like a MacBook. And what is it, why would you actually opt for a MacBook? And the ones who buy it, they actually do it for a bundle of benefits. So some of it is functional, like maybe it's small, it's light, it's whatever, it's cool, it powers up quickly. Some of it is emotional, like maybe I've achieved something in life, I'm able to afford something which is good, so there's some emotional feel good to it. Some of it is just experiential, the whole experience, like when I went to the shop, how they made me feel, how I feel about using it. So there is the experience. And some of it is self-expressive, or in some cases we also say related to status, or status as you may pronounce it, that it says something about me, the product or the brand that I use, it actually reflects on me as a person. Whether I wear a simple pair of shoes, or whether I wear designer shoes, or whether I drive a budget car or I drive a luxury car, those things also kind of reflect back on me. So some of the parts of the brand are also self expressive, what I am as a person. So, moving on, obviously, one big advantage of the brand is that it's visually recognizable and differentiated. I think the two biggest competitors in the market, Pepsi and Coke. So, the chance of you actually wanting a Pepsi and reaching for a Coke, very low, right? Chances are very low. The colors are so distinct. The way of writing it is so distinct. So that brand which helps the product to be very well recognized and differentiated. If you are, in a at a vending machine, or you are in a supermarket aisle, you will just pick instinctively for the brand that you're looking for. And that whole visual identity is the name, the logo, the way of writing the name, which is part of the visual identity, the colors, and the tagline. In some cases, the tagline is also like Nike, just do it. So when you read just do it, even if you don't read anything else, you will think of Nike. Or if you just see the swoosh, their logo, you will think of Nike. So all these are the elements that make the brand uh, recognizable and differentiated, and that prevents the product from becoming commoditized. When I say product from becoming commoditized, like, you know, um, if I hire a contractor to maybe make some changes to my house, and he says, "Hey, I need 10 bags of cement." Maybe I'm going to work in the morning and I just write a check or something and I say, "Yeah, get 10 bags of cement." So I'm not really concerned about the brand, because to me, all bags of cement are the same, whether that's right or wrong. So, a strong brand prevents the product from becoming commoditized. So, I don't go to a shop and say, just give me any Coke or any cola, but I ask for a Pepsi or a Coke or whatever. So, the brand helps that product to remain distinct. And then moving on, a brand is a promise to consumers. So when we buy a brand, whatever it is, whether we are, buying an item of clothing, or like a Nike pair of shoes, or we are buying, we are buying a coffee at Starbucks. We know that every time we go there, we are going to get a certain quality, we're going to have a certain experience. So it's not like I go to Starbucks once and I have a very different experience, and I go there another time and I have a completely different experience. Maybe the table isn't wiped, or there's no one ready to take my order, or maybe there's no hot coffee. So the experience is very different. But that is not how it works. A brand is supposed to give you a very consistent experience. The service, of course, because it's not just about a product, it's also the service that comes around it. You buy a car, what is your experience with the after sale service, with the servicing centers, and so on, right? The ethics. So you don't want to read that a brand that you have been buying from has actually been doing something harmful to the environment, or has been buying sourcing products from factories where child labor is used, or any of those issues. You trust that the brand is not doing any kind of unethical practices, and that's why they do need to often say on their website what they do, whether they're sourcing products ethically. All these are the kind of things that they need to take a stand on. Then the
Right.
availability, we also trust our brands for availability. So if I need a snack and I'm looking for a Kit Kat or something, I can trust that it will be available. There's not going to be a stock out situation of something like a Kit Kat. So I trust that it will be available, and that may be true in many many remote markets, remote smaller towns, even if I'm going hiking or whatever, right? So you do trust the brand with availability. And then the image of the brand overall has to remain the kind of image that I want to be associated with. Okay, so that is to do with it being in every way cool, or whatever I perceive it to be cool. The brand will maintain that image. Okay, it's not going to happen that I purchase like um, you know um, a very expensive bag, And and then tomorrow that bag is available somewhere for $50, because that's going to be for me a problem. Or the bag
Me too.
completely changes. Yeah. So these are some of the things that the brand promises to consumers. Okay. So when we look at one of the world's largest brands today, that not only you in the US and I in India, but people in all countries are so familiar with this brand, and that's Google. And why is this brand so powerful? Because we, all of us, turn to this brand. We turn to this brand like a trusted friend, relative, whatever. Okay. So, what is the promise? The promise is the simple promise. There are many things, but the simple promise is you will get the most results that you want for whatever you're searching for. So, there is great breadth in the response to your search, and you will get it fast. I think that is really the promise. I will always find what I'm looking for. I will have plenty of choice, and I will get this fast. And that's the reason why today, when we are driving, we say, okay, Google, tell me where this is, tell me where that is, tell me what I should do. So it's become, so that is the promise. Now, tomorrow, if for any reason Google doesn't serve me fast, doesn't show me results quickly enough, or doesn't show me enough results or relevant results, they have actually kind of broken that promise, and there, next time I may not actually go to Google again. So that is really the promise. We look at one more very interesting example, which is Airbnb. Now, maybe, maybe 10, 12, 15
I like
years
the
ago.
free house.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So Lydia, maybe 10, 15 years ago, if I had told you that you will travel just to any place in your country or even in the world, and you will just land up at the house of some stranger whom you've never met, and you will just kind of, stay in their house, maybe when they're already staying there, or maybe when they are traveling, you will use their spare room, or you will use a spare couch. You would have actually said, are you crazy, right?
Yes.
Right. But why is it that we trust Airbnb and make bookings through them? So that's again the promise. The promise is that we will have a certain experience. They promise you that when you book with us, you have a host who has already hosted other people. You can read the reviews, and other people have had a good experience. You will only have to pay what is shown on the website. You have, if you want to cancel, then there are ways for you to cancel. So all this is the brand promise. And if we have experienced it once, the second time we don't even check what's the cancellation policy, right? We just look at the property, we look at the review, and we're just happy to travel. So this is how, just that one word, Airbnb, and that logo, it includes an entire promise. Yeah.
You remember, if it's a good experience, especially if it's a good experience, you don't question it because the trust is being built from the experience, and that's really important. Yeah.
They have kept their promise, and if they give you a bad experience and they've broken your promise, then you do feel as betrayed as if it was a person who had broken your promise.
That's
You feel, I spent my hard earned money, I took that little break from my work, and Airbnb didn't work out for me, and you will tell 10 people that I
yeah.
expected Airbnb to be a good experience, but it was a bad experience. So you will tell 10 people, and that will damage their brand.
And a lot
So
of
one of
times you'll see like, the reviews that are online from people. Those reviews are very important. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
online reviews are very important. Yes. In today's world, they're one of the most important things you can do for your brand. So, some of us, when we are asked to develop our brand, what should your brand be like? This is one of the exercises that the top branding agencies do, who charge many millions of dollars. But even a small business can actually do this, just to clarify your own thinking. If my brand was a person, what would that person be? So this is not that guy. What's the name of the guy who sits outside McDonald's? Ronald, right?
Ronald
Mascot.
McDonald.
This is not, yeah. So this is not a mascot exercise. This is just that if my brand was a person, what would that person be like? So what happens is when you actually start writing out this, you brainstorm with your team and you write it out, that helps you to create this unique brand personality. So would my brand be young, old, teenager, uh, or whatever, person in their 30s? Would my brand be a working professional, or somebody very sporty, someone who hangs out in suits, or somebody who hangs out in, like, track pants and trainers all day? Would my brand be very traditional, again, as I said, dark suit, wearing a tie, and always going by what's been done, or somebody who's very experimental? Will my brand be someone who collects a lot of people, or will my brand be more like a loner? Will my brand be the kind who enjoys a steak, or someone who likes organic food or vegan? Will my brand be very quiet or very loud? So there are teams that actually do this kind of a brainstorming exercise. So once you have that brand persona, what happens is that you can then be consistent. Everything we write, everything we say, is going to be um, consistent with what this brand persona would have felt and done and said. So this is one way to bring clarity to what your brand should be like.
Right.
Okay. So why brand? So there are a lot of strengths, business strengths, thanks to branding. A brand is a barrier to entry for competitors. Can everyone become an Amazon today? You can develop, the IT. It's easy to develop the program to create, an Amazon store, or any other store like Amazon, but you cannot become Amazon, because Amazon is already such a strong brand, and already so many people are using it, are they're aware of it, they have taken subscriptions, so it's not going to be easy for anyone else to duplicate that. That becomes an entry barrier for competition. Okay. Why brand? Because with a brand, you don't compete on price alone. So when people buy luxury items, if you're going to a customer who's going to a luxury car dealership, or even luxury clothing or fashion, we never look at the features. We are not going to go and test drive this car and say, what's the power of the engine. Some people might, but that's actually a little later, right? we are
Right.
we are really we're really buying this brand because others cannot buy it.
Yeah.
So the exclusivity, you're going for a college reunion, and which car you drive. So if you can afford a car that others cannot afford, that
The
also is a product
status.
feature.
Yeah.
Status, yeah. Status also is a product feature. So the brand, if you've created a brand like that, it allows you to compete on terms which are not related to the price and features. It's not like I gave X and my competitor gave X, and so my competitor is charging $100, so I can only charge the maximum $105. No, brand and status helps you to kind of move out of that discussion into something else. So don't compete on price alone.
Perfect.
And then also, research has shown that with strong brands, you have more consistent sales over long, uh, you know, periods of time, over actually over decades. So we're looking at here we're looking at brands which have been around for a long time, Kit Kat and Snickers and so on. And you may be knowing certain brands, like, say, maybe confectionery, maybe ice cream, Baskin Robbins or whatever. Now it may be that there is an individual who makes a lovely ice cream, you know but what's happened is that, and maybe that individual man or woman is also doing very well. Maybe she has a very loyal user, loyal base of customers, and so on. But the thing is that when you have a brand like Baskin Robbins or whichever other brand, the kind of sales that you have over years and years and decades is just way more. So brands have been shown or proven to create long, consistent sales over many years. Which is the difference between a very small, very boutique business and a brand that survives for a long time. So for consumers, a brand helps them to easily identify what they are buying. The brand image rubs off on the persona and vice versa. Branding helps to reduce the decision making time. So I go on a supermarket aisle, there are thousands and thousands of products, but I'm familiar with the colors, with the way of writing, with the logo. I pick up something which I can trust. And brand gives you that assurance about ethics and quality. You don't expect the brands that you buy to be doing unethical things. If you find out that they're doing unethical things, they will pay a price. You are going to take some action. You're going to complain about it on social media. You're going to tell your friends about it, and you're going to stop using the products. So brand is something which we need to position in the minds of the consumers with clarity. Okay, what does this brand stand for? Credibility. If you claim to be something, it should really be true. Consistency. You can't be one thing today and another thing tomorrow. And competitiveness, it has to be differentiated and competitive. So I've just shown two examples here that, what does Microsoft mean to you or to me? What does it mean in our mind? Good, bad, whatever. What does this watch brand Casio mean to us? Good, bad, whatever. So they start occupying a certain place in our mind. The company has to do a lot to occupy the right space or to work towards occupying a better space. Okay. So today, online branding is very important. All the social media channels, Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, are powerful today for branding. It's not obvious marketing or promotional messages always, but it is actually brand building messages. And there are different ways of showing it. It could be by building a network of contacts. It could be by showcasing expertise. It could be by initiating, debates, dialogue, publishing different kinds of material, articles, photos, creating groups and communities. Yeah. So that's just a little bit about online. And do we have time, Lydia? Because there's a little bit about brand voice, but I'll only do that if we have the time.
So there is no limit to the time. So I just wanted to know that I had to unmute because there was some background noise. I just wanted to be respectful of your presentation. But no, you can go as long as you need to get this done, and you're doing a beautiful job. You're pointing out areas that I wasn't even thinking of. So this is great. This is definitely a master class.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
like I'll tell you why I've come to brand voice, because today, content has become very important. So everyone is not going with branding agencies or even advertising agencies, or a lot of small businesses, even including somebody like yourself or myself. What are we doing? We're actually working on our brands every day. So one of the ways that we're doing that is by creating content. And in fact, this class is an example of content that you are creating and I'm creating. Now, what happens with content? Content drives a lot of digital marketing today. You can't have social media without content. You can't have even Google ads without content, because you still need good landing pages and good ads. You can't have email marketing without content, right? You can't have thought leadership without content. So when it comes to content, we're just going to look at when you're creating content, do you just like randomly create things, or are you branding when you create content? And that's where the brand voice comes in. So brand voice is the personality and emotions that are infused in your content. And so again, it has to be consistent, because when you have a consistent brand voice, it creates a strong brand. It's not just a random assortment of stuff that you publish. Okay. So I'm going to just give you a few examples. So MailChimp, a lot of people have used MailChimp, and so I have used this example. And their brand voice guide is actually published on their website. So anyone who wants to study it can study it. If you ever log into MailChimp, and MailChimp is a product which helps to run email campaigns. So the audience who may have used it, or they can try to use it. And there are other products also that help you to run email campaigns. But when you log into MailChimp, the interface is kind of very friendly. It uses imagery. It uses very interesting text. It doesn't have a feel that, oh my God, this is so complicated, I need to study it. It kind of guides you through the whole process, and there's just a little bit of fun element. Okay, this is when you experience it as a user. And when you look at this MailChimp brand voice guide, you understand why that is happening, because they have said, actually, they've defined that our tone is informal. And we do use humor, but it's more important to be clear than entertaining, which means that the humor should not be so much that it becomes very clever. And as a user, I'm like, oh, they're making fun of me. No, that is not effective. So they have actually defined all this, in fact, in the last line here, they say we are never condescending, and our users are in on the joke. It's not like the joke is on the users. So it's very interesting. We'll see an example. So this is what it looks like. MailChimp. Now, this product is not intimidating. It tells me your business is growing. Now what? So it's like, okay, this makes it simple for me. Okay, now what? Sign up. Yeah, easy, right? There's a little cartoon here which is there across all their entire website. So this is how a brand voice helps to create that consistency. And now wherever I see this, and the guy in the corner, the chimp, the guy who puts the chimp in MailChimp, they even have in the brand voice guide what he does and doesn't do. Okay, like he can give a high five, but he never talks. So writers are not supposed to write that, MailChimp said this. I mean, this chimp, whatever his name is, said this. He has a name, I forget what, Jimmy or whatever. Yeah. So that's how a brand voice makes content interesting and also memorable. Okay. So in order to find your brand voice, we saw earlier the brand personification exercise, and here are some more. You can get in a room with your stakeholders, discuss your mission, your values, what's non-negotiable in your values, audit your current content, like until now, what have we been saying, what's been coming through. Then consider what will work for your buyer persona, the person you're selling to. What's going to work for them? Is it going to be very, very serious? Is it going to be very fun? Is it going to be very cutting edge? Is it going to be very, very tech heavy? Is it going to be very technical? I mean, those are the things that you need to think about for your target audience. And then you brainstorm internally and build a consensus about what that brand voice will be, so that you can define it just as we saw MailChimp has defined it. And I'm just going to end with like one more example. Airbus. I mean, we all know Airbus, which is the aircraft company. It's a household name. Boeing and Airbus are the two largest aircraft companies in the world. And here they've written, that they are, what is their brand personality? Again, this is from their website. Inspiring and passionate, determined, pioneering and entrepreneurial. And then they also say we will be positive and engaging, clear and concise, bold and dynamic. So it's a little different from what you would expect an aircraft company to be, clear and concise, okay, bold and dynamic, okay. So we see how that actually translates. And these are some tweets from Airbus and Airbus Foundation. And the Airbus Foundation tweet is actually, it has this like, cartoonish image. It says, how do airplanes fly? So it's actually meant for children. It's some tweet, and maybe I think there's a video which is actually targeted for children. So yeah, it is bold, it's engaging. Yeah. I don't have to be an aircraft buyer to be able to appreciate this. And then there is another tweet which is not about aircraft, but it is about design, engineering design. So it's like they're not trying to sell me anything, but they are creating this connection with the brand, which tells me that they are right there at the forefront of design, of engineering, and that's the message, and that's the personality that's coming across. Yeah. So those were just some examples of brand image, and I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to just tell you, my company is Market Access. We are based in India, but we work with clients, some clients in the US, yes, and also Australia, the UAE, and other countries. We do strategy, we do marketing services, and we do training. So that's about us, yeah, and that's me. That's my email right there. And I'm also happy to tell you that I have a course published on Udemy for content strategy and planning for B2B marketing. So yeah, over
Awesome.
to you,
Very
Lydia.
awesome. And I was just trying to, yeah, I'm just trying to get out of the large screen here.
I've stopped sharing.
So
I've stopped sharing.
what is your email address again, just so that I can put it in the little message down below so people can see it?
Okay.
Just so I can put it right in the little
Just
scroller.
1 second.
Yeah,
Sure.
no problem. Take your time.
I'll just tell you 1 second. Where is our window? That's here.
Okay, I just wanted to put it in a
Can you
little
see
ticker down below.
the?
Yes, I can see it. I just wanted to put it in the little ticker so that it can scroll across the screen. So I'm going to just see if I can copy that and I'll add it to it. Hold on 1 second.
Sure. You can. Yeah.
See if I can. Okay. So everyone, I just wanted to add her email again at the bottom. Hold on 1 second. Susan Sini at accessconsulting.com.
No, Market Access Consulting. Market Access.
Okay. And I'm putting that in the ticker so that when people are watching, whoever watches this later can see it. To make sure that and I want to make sure that I'm spelling it correctly.
SUHASINI at marketaccessconsulting.com.
There it is. Sometimes when I'm typing, and it's added right now to the bottom. I just wanted to really, first of all, we have plenty of time. We have about an hour that I try to set aside for these. We've only done 31 minutes so far. I wanted to tell you that I've learned a lot today. We got this together in a short amount of time. You got this together in a short amount of time. So I just really appreciate you showing up today because you pointed out a lot of key, very beneficial points today. And one of the things I was thinking as you were talking about how we're branding ourselves every day, just you and I showing up in this space is educational. It's helping someone else that may be looking to brand themselves and they don't even know where to start. So you've given out a lot of information that can be shared, and the video will be on my Facebook page for people to explore. We do have some technical difficulties where I cannot share it with you for whatever reason, but it is there just so you know that you are being seen, and that's a great thing. That
Absolutely.
You're being seen. Because all the way from India, I met this lovely lady. Again, her name is Sunasini, and we have been going back and forth now. People that are watching for about a month and a half, almost 2 months. Sorry about my alarm. I'm going to turn my alarm off. But the thing of it is that when I started doing this, let's just put it this way. This past year has been really difficult. So this year, when I started rethinking of how I wanted to brand myself, I was sort of stuck in a rut a little bit. And then I met you and I met other people like you. And it just kept kind of just really pulled me out of my rut, so to speak, because it's motivational.
So the thing is, that 2020, like we can't go for trade shows, we can't go for sales calls. But if you really think about it, with events happening online and meetings happening online, it's actually in a way, there's nothing to stop us from reaching out to any market.
Right.
You don't have to be limited now to your local market, because I get so many invitations for webinars, and the invitations for webinars are all from the people in my city whom I've been listening to for the last 20 years.
Right.
And then I realized that what's stopping me from attending a good webinar which is happening in Singapore or in the US or the UK. And I actually started making some good connects like that. So 2020 has stopped us from doing a lot, but then it's opened the world for us in other ways.
And
in fact, this is a good tip for anyone who's looking to sell. Don't attend events in the market where you are. Attend events in your target market, because the events are all virtual. So what's stopping you from attending them?
That's a really good point. Yeah, see, there's always something that you say that makes me think. And that's why I really appreciate this and connecting with you in this way because, this masterclass is not just for the people that are out there listening. This masterclass is for me. This masterclass is for Subhasini. The more we develop, the more we create, the more we share, the more we learn from one another, and the more we educate others. It's just a trickling effect, and everyone gets to learn and benefit from it. Today, when you were talking, and again, I thought about us branding ourselves as educational, educators in the industry doing this masterclass. I really just was thinking, like you said, the same thing you said about we can be anywhere, but also it's something that you don't see a lot. I don't think that I've seen it a lot. So just showing up and branding ourselves in this unique way makes us stand out in the industry. So, even if it's just, a couple of views in the beginning and then it grows throughout the week, we're getting our information out there. It will be seen, it will be heard. And the thing about you said about consistency, showing up, us, even if it's just me sitting here every week on a Friday, showing up every week, it's the consistency of developing my voice and having it be heard. You and I both know that we don't need millions of clients to be successful. So if we get 1 million views, that's nice. But the reality is we only need a couple of, we have a little technical difficulty with Subhasini, but
Yeah, my camera is got disconnected
that's okay.
somehow.
I can still hear you.
Yeah.
So we're just showing up, everybody, and we're doing the best that we can in our space. Like she said, the world has changed, but we don't have to change the connection part of it. We can still connect with people. So I wanted to really, really, really say thank you, Subhasini.
So just one thing, Lydia, why don't you check your Facebook page if there are any comments or any
Glitches.
questions?
Okay, perfect.
If there are any questions or comments, yeah.
Yes, and I think in order for me to do that, I cannot have Facebook open at the same time as streaming on here because StreamYard has said that it'll cut it off. It'll cause glitch.
Okay.
But as soon
All
as
right.
I'm done, yeah.
If you have any comments or questions, we'll take them later then.
Oh, sure, yeah. And any questions that anyone has directly for you, I will send your way through email. So you know.
Sure. Okay, so all the way from India, yeah. Have a great day.
India, and all the way from Connecticut.
You have a great day, and I hope to visit sometime when the pandemic is over.
Visit India, and hopefully this world will calm down soon, one day at a time. Have a great day, and thank you for joining me.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.